What's going on YouTube? This is Acid Roots. So I'm going to review a 2011 mixtape by 2 Chainz. Basically this product is called Codeine Cowboy, a 2 Chainz collective, and it came out in the winter of 2011. So the thing about this particular product is after about the mid-late 2000s, Tity Boi started to put out a series of mixtapes. Tity Boi is 2 Chainz' other name as far as this pitch going to happen. So originally on this particular mixtape, this is one of the last projects where he was still known as Tity Boi, but with about this one forward, he started to become known by the moniker 2 Chainz as far as this pitch going to happen. 2011 is a pretty huge year for 2 Chainz as far as this pitch going to happen. He started to really separate full bound from play his circle of the late 2000s and mid-late 2000s. Some particular pitches. He did have a series of mixtapes between about 2008 to about 2010 just underneath the Tity Boi name, pitches like that, and there were some extra ones. There might have been some play his circle mixtapes that he did with Doll Boy as well as far as this pitch going to happen. There actually is a third play his circle album floating around within the pitch behind. It's a little bit more low key because it's kind of within a relative kind of tougher to find type format, but there were at least 3 of those. So it's one that might have been in 2008, something like that. It's kind of similar to like D4L and like the other one, Dem Franchise Boys, some of those type folks that had some unofficial or just relatively very low-key type products just within the pitch. But this particular album, this particular mixtape here is another classic, another stock highlight, just like 2 Chainz' late 2011 mixtape, I think that one was called True to My Religion. That particular hit breakout mixtape from late 2011 was called True Religion. As far as this pitch can happen, was basically like a primer to based on a true story, so some good pitches like that. But this particular one's another nice one here. There actually are a few more. 2 Chainz was pretty similar to like Future, where he dropped multiple mixtapes in 2011. So it's an excellent type for this. Is primary Dat Piff type stuff to kind of get within those pitches. Just primary mixtape drill, Lex Luger type beats. Mike Will made it. Some of those type folks. Honorary C note, some of those particular type fares are just like the highlighted appeal of like early 2010s typeness to kind of get within that. So it's another stock highlight within those pitches. Just I'd say plenty of hit after hit after hit just to be able to say this. I'll go ahead and say that I basically recommend all 15 of the 15 songs on this product. So this mixtape gets a 10 out of 10, simple enough to kind of say here. It's easy kind of just consistent highlights. This particular product did have a couple charting singles off of it, and they weren't really as full bound kind of singles, but it's just the overall kind of buzz popularity that 2 Chainz was kind of building throughout like the early 2010s as far as those first going to happen, just within the aspect of getting some of these kind of similar to like Riot off of like Based on a True Story from 2012. And I want to say that song was also on True Religion as well as far as those first going to happen. So some good type pitches to be able to get to some of that type stuff just within the pitch behind it. I'd have to say just within the aspect of like 2 Chainz was kind of collecting singles similar to like basically Gucci Mane and Future, some of those type folks from 2011 around that particular time. Gucci Mane from like 2008, 2009, Future from 2011. Good type of feel. So he built up a pretty good mixtape buzz within those pitches, but also amongst the aspect of doing this particular review, I noticed that 2 Chainz has a wingman on here who I've been noticing on a number of his products. There's a cat named Cap1. Not really as full-bound sure about him previously, but I'd have to say I do remember him being on at least possibly based on true story, but I do remember him more on like Boats to Me times as far as this pitch can happen. So I wanted to see. He seems to be like a pretty good wingman of not Future, but 2 Chainz as far as this pitch can happen. So it's just an aspect as far as me saying that I noticed that he did drop some products that he's going to happen eventually down the road, just to see some more products that like some good mixtape cats can get within that fair. It's just some good pitches there, so I just look after. But this particular product here has some excellence, like I was saying. He continues that consistent track record that 2 Chainz kind of had just between Play a Circle and then his solo stuff as far as those appeals kind of happen. So Tity Boi, 2 Chainz there you want to look at, or just some excellent typeness kind of get here. So just being able to say. So the lead single, or at least the biggest buzz single off this product that had the most chart appeal, was the song Spend It. It's like a basic quality kind of factory mixtape highlight to kind of get here. Definite drill buzz single, I'd feel like within, definitely a drill buzz single to kind of get within those aspects. The initial kind of 2 Chainz solo hit to kind of have for some of that, and just a great bubbler overall to kind of get. So obviously there are some further vicious type ones, like Riot's a little bit more of a larger spread type one, pitches like that, you know, some ones. Thinking of like 2 Chainz, like obviously songs like No Lie and Birthday Song and like I'm Different hit a little bit heavier, but it's just the aspect that in terms like the initial type stuff, 2 Chainz did get some of his further hits fleshed out further, but it's within the aspect of just seeing the initial type fares. Not to say that there's anything wrong with the songs, just kind of the pitch of this. It's just like an initial type one, like when you think of Eminem's My Name Is or something like that, you just pay attention to the concept that paying attention from this particular starting point. And this wasn't even really like a starting point, but just the aspect of how he initially caught track traction a lot further just within those pitches, especially solo-wise, just within the aspect. It's a real notable type song within the pitch, really classic drill type song and mixtape highlights, an easy recommendable type one for that DAT Piff era if you're trying to recommend to folks some of those type ones for that particular era between like about 2008 to 2014. This is a real stock one to kind of get here. So this is easily one. Now I feel like most senses it's easy enough to see that True Religion is easy like a banner kind of DAT Piff mixtape within those pairs, but this is one that's a little bit less common within those pitches, so I definitely would recommend this product as well as like some notability to just a little bit more within the primary, just within the true meat and heaviness of the particular products, how those aspects can happen. So some good type of appeal. Boo's another nice one as well within those pitches. Now this has Yo Gotti on there, which is pretty excellent type fare. He was pretty much in his prime around this time as well. So excellent type nest. It's like a drip. Boo is like a dripping kind of night venue glitz kind of get here. A good sequel to Spended, I'd have to say, within the fashion. Just a little bit more feeling glared about this particular one. And some grand mixtape Fridays kind of get within those aspects. So it's just a good concept. 2 Chainz does have a few songs in here for like that weekend kind of embraces the concept. If you do have some blue collar type fare, just the aspect of like it's kind of the pitch of adapting to mixtape type pizzazz of just having some ones that feel like like this project does get hammered on it, but it's just not as full bound compared to like it kind of embraces like some other things on this particular project. It has some heartland songs on here like Cowboy and some of those type ones. There's a lot of mixtape soul from like the mid 2000s, like Riding Through the Clouds, Feeling You, Pimps, and some of those type ones, and it just has some good aspects within the particular tone behind it. I want to say there's at least another one on here within some of those type fares, maybe Standstill or some ones like that. But it's this kind of aspect of balancing like some of that particular kind of cruise around type fare in like a more drifty kind of morning and evening makeshift kind of sense, and also the concept of a lot of mixtape drill that just stands for like the real capital type stuff of DAT Piff era as far as those pitches kind of go. It's just some good aspects there. But Boo is just a real glitzy type one that's just one to kind of be like when I was saying glared, I mean torch as hell, have a few swishers or backwoods in your system as far as those aspects going to happen. Just the concept of just like, okay, it's Friday, don't have anything to do the next few days, just within those pitches, just feeling get torn up within some of those aspects as far as doing it. It's kind of the concept. I feel like this could kind of be like a makeshift kind of mixtape as far as those fares going to go. I mean, within a relative aspect, it may not have like the conduct of something for like 3 o'clock p.m. within a relative sense in terms of like something that just is more workaday, telling you to clock in some of those type of things, but it does have the aspect of like that relative embrace of just being, having like the composition of having some of that in mind for like a moreover hustler's makeshift, but just in the aspect of having that extra type embrace of this stuff that's kind of going through the passage of day fare, just in the particulars about it. So it's just good type tones. Yeah, this project's easy enough to recommend just within the aspect because I recommend this project's just going to go through the motions here just because I recommend every song on here. So just to get to some of these type pitches, a real sparkly type one on here would be La La. Pretty similar to like the song La La by Lil Wayne off of the Carter 3. Not necessarily full bound similar, but just within the similar type of approach of La La kind of being torn up as hell off some real good smokage as far as those first going to happen. It's like a twinkly kind of super stone city pizzazz kind of get here. Social feeling burn, I would have to say about this one. Just typical push about that. Just kind of some stock recreation for a crazy night as far as those pitch kind of go. So it's just the concept of like being out on the town within a pitch, but just also having some smokage kind of within that. Just Red Eyes types music as far as those some Red Eyes type music just within the aspect of some of those type ones. Just good music for like your homies as far as getting ready to step out with like some social city hopping within the aspect of having some smoke in your system. So good type fare for some of those. Cowboy's a real nice one. Now this keeps the theme of like the project being called Codeine Cowboy as far as those aspects can have. And this has like some original flavor about it of like 70s heartland rock and like a mixtape buzz kind of sense. It has a great pop off to kind of get this one. It's a good night venue kind of step out. It's a good night owl kind of product. Just a good enjoy like the late times kind of snaz as far as those pitch kind of happen. So basically if you were to take like a 70s song that you would hear like when you think of some of those Guitar Hero type stretchers pitches like that, some of those particular 70s type songs within the aspect of like the ones that you would hear just out of karaoke bar pitches like that, Good Motorcycle Bar, some of those type places, Hard Rock Cafe, some of those type places, Hard Rock bars, just in the aspect of having some of that just within like a mixtape kind of sense of just like some turn up, just in the aspect of like mild kind of amounts of drill, but just kind of more of like a mild dance stepper. It's just good conduct for that. It's a pretty excellent blend, good type tone. Gasoline is a pretty quality one as well within those pitches. Just like a distorted kind of feeling, Slizzard definite mixtape weekend hop kind of get within some of those type pitches. This grand kind of just like an excellent kind of cut loose, just some grand relief after like a typical dredge, I'd say. So this one goes pretty well with Boo. I'd have to say some of those type pitches are just like alright. Is like the standard fare is kind of done. This would be great for like Thursday evening, Friday evening pitches like that. Just basically about 5:45 to about just throughout the pitch of the night as far as that particular one goes. Just already getting towards it. Just probably in your whip, just in like the driveway at your house, something like that, just getting ready to spark up a few and just be like, alright, it's time to get tore up, figure out what's going to happen as far as those night fairs going to happen with it. Just good concept to really get towards the concept. It's not really a ton of songs like this on here in terms of Gasoline, in terms of like the aspect of really being kind of slurred out just from the pitch. I mean, there are some, the drill type moments are more on here within the aspect of just getting turned up towards it, and I do think some of these type moments have the aspect of course, having like the dance crazes, getting rowdy, some of that type fair, but in terms, like it just kind of, it has the aspect of just either way you look after it, whether you are getting kind of shit faced with an aspect of just the tone, or you just trying to go out and stunt and pull a bell or pitches like that, just dance a little bit and social, mingle, make some power moves within those pitches, just an aspect, or just socialize within the fair. It's just the conduct to have that particular night fair. It's just that concept. But in terms of like designated get tore up type songs, I'd say Gasoline's probably one of the closest ones on here. Kitchen is a pretty quality one as well. It's like a blend of Jeezy and Gucci Mane, kind of early 2010s drill as far as those particular pitches kind of happen. When you think of Lex Luger, for the most part, he didn't really produce for Jeezy that much, so it's just a good aspect that this has some leftover traces of like late 2000s and mid 2000s kind of Jeezy with like early 2010s Gucci Mane as far as those first going to happen. Just some recession kind of ghostliness that I had to say about this, with like some mixtape drill from like the Gucci Mane Waka Flocka days. Just overall pretty hot one to kind of get here. It's just good aspect as far as those fairs going to happen. So Kitchen is kind of a Lex Luger beat as far as those aspects going to happen. So it's just a good type combination. Some of that if you pick up on that particular fair. I mean, Jeezy being on like a Gucci Mane type beat's an interesting type pitch behind it, but it basically is just like a fusion of that, considering that they were kind of beefing around those particular times. So it's a good aspect kind of get that one. 2 Chainz is kind of like the conduit for that. It's a good type of appeal. There are a series of mixtape soul type songs kind of get this. So I was talking about with we'll get to the drill ones a little bit, but basically some of these ones like Stand Still, Feeling You, Ride Through the Clouds, Riding Through the Clouds, and Pimps are some ones for some of these more soul type ones. But Stand Still is like a floaty kind of mixtape soul, just like mid 2000s days of like DJ Drama. I definitely say here, good song to smoke a few, just some airy kind of cruise arounds I'd have to say, and it's pretty lit type ones. So it's just a good pitch behind some of these, just some nice kind of breezes kind of get for some of those aspects. Just real car centric type ones kind of have for some good aspects, like some good just pop off a bit and just kind of have the enjoy of just like the makeshift just from the pitch. I mean, it doesn't have to be makeshift, but just within the pitch, just like getting errands done, some of that type fair, just mixtape embrace within some of that conduct. Just excellent free music to kind of get within some of that type fold, to like some good just errands and Popeyes, get some grub, Pizza Hut type music to be able to get within some of those type aspects, just within the tone, having some smokes in your system, hotbox to whip some of those type fairs, so good type tones for that. Pimps is another one like that as well. Now some of these are kind of jazz rapish to kind of say, at least Feeling You and Pimps are some ones within those fashions. Pimps has Bun B on here and Big KRIT. I need to get to some of his type stuff, but Pimps like a similar kind of jazzy fashion to Feeling You. I definitely had to say, we'll get to that song, but this like some plushy kind of newspaper music I'd had to say here, just typical kind of mixtape makeshift I'd had to say, and good song to drift to as far as those fairs gonna go. So just the concept, it's really the aspect that I do feel like Feeling You and Pimps just go for like a good 1-2 punch within some of those type fairs. Just Tuesday morning pitches like that, just picking up a paper at McDonald's or some of those type fairs. At least McDonald's used to have the paper, but just an aspect, place where you get the paper, some of those type aspects, getting some coffee, something like that. Just typical kind of fair, a little bit more civil type cruise arounds, just from the aspect behind it, but just some real nice ones, similar to like Paul Wall and Slim Thug folks that kind of have like these vehicles, similar to like Slim Thug, Paul Wall, that have these vehicle type offs to be able to have like for some real smooth, butter smooth kind of cruise arounds just from the pitch. So good type tones. Feeling You is just like that. Like I was saying, it's like a melted kind of ladies ambience kind of get here. Nice tone for the chicas as those fairs going to go. Just mild city evening breeze kind of get within this aspect. Bit of jazz grace on there as far as those aspects going to go. Suave date night kind of snaz kind of have within some of those type pitches. So just the tone of dislike. Some of these type moments are just some good, excellent aspects to be two tones for those pitch can go. Kind of going from like Friday, Thursday type fair to more like Monday, Tuesday type fair with just beginning of the week, this stuff in like a personal life type fair in like a more day-to-day type fashion. It's a little bit more straightforward. Your government name type, more of your government name type music just within the aspects for those fairs going to happen. Just the blue collar type report to work type fair, just an aspect, including the personal life of having bells around some of that type fair. So it's good type pitches. Some of those type songs, Feeling You, Riding Through the Clouds, Pimp, some of those type ones. But speaking of Riding Through the Clouds, it's like a regular kind of vintage Players Circle mid-2000s kind of DJ Drama tape soul to kind of get within some of those aspects. Just toasted kind of evening haze kind of have for some of those type fairs. So some of these would be some nice ones to have some smokage in your system, just the aspect behind it. They really work for just like basic kind of mellow kind of Monday, Tuesday cruise rounds, but just also within the pitch having some good smoke within the fair of hotboxing with your pals, like I was saying, some good aspects for some of that. So it's just a good ambience kind of for some of those type tones. It really works. I mean, some of these have that commercial bound typeness. It's the closest thing to makeshift as far as those fairs can have, but it just works for that concept of just like some cruise rounds that just have that good appeal. appeal. Talk about some of these drill ones on here. Good Night's a good follow-up to Spend It. I'd have to say it's like a stock drill highlight. I'd have to say just some mixtape snarl, definitely. Grand kind of get crunk and trendy kind of go ham that goes with Spend It. I would definitely feel like within some of those type tones behind it. Another one within that fashion that goes pretty well with Good Night would be Call Tisha, I'd have to say. Just to say on top of that, 2 Chainz has a pretty excellent finesse to like these drill type songs. It's just a good stock pitch that you're going to get several of these that just have that particular glitzy type appeal. Good Night, Spinner, some nice ones, but Call Tisha is another nice one within those conducts as well. It's like a litty kind of mixtape drill send off to kind of get in like a neighborhood sense. It's pretty energizing for like a super stoked night. I'd have to say about this particular one. It snarls pretty well. So 2 Chainz is pretty similar to Lil Wayne with like his lyricism just within the pitch. I've said this within the past, but it's just an aspect to kind of getting like some quality kind of mixtape drill artists that have like some shredding lyricism just within the pitch behind it. So some good type of appeals. I want to say, like I probably said this before as well, that I think 2 Chainz freestyles a lot of these, so it's just good type pitch. But Call Tisha definitely like some good type of appeal. So it's just within the aspect of getting like a good 1, 2, 3 type punch within some of these type fairs. Spend It, Good Night, and Call Tisha are all within those same aspects to like some real pounding type ones. I'd probably say that Low Boots is like that, but first I'm going to talk about like Role Model. This is like a glitzy kind of out on the night town kind of embrace kind of get here. Just a stunt night, definite good cruise around. I'd have to say just some feel good kind of nice night breeze kind of within some of those aspects. So it's just a good, just real nice appeal. This particular song, Role Model, has a nice appeal about it. Just fresh in the night air as far as those aspects can happen just within the tone as far as getting towards some of these type ones. Goes pretty well with Gasoline and Booze, some of those type ones that just the aspect that just got done with the tasks and responsibilities as far as like standard makeshift push kind of happens within it, but just the embrace of kind of having like some good just relief of like, alright, it's time to get to like some of this particular snarl and this kind of ritzy kind of turn up within the pitch behind it. So it's just some good fashions, good type of appeals for some of that. I mean, it has like a quick pace about it. These are not necessarily like more just kind of melded type songs. It's the aspect of getting towards like some fierceness, like getting towards the more drill type moments, but it just kind of has like some conduit type songs for like the concept of just like kind of switching to flip mode as far as those aspects can have. So it's good type appeals. Low Boots is a pretty bitchin' type one as well as like a glared kind of city hop turn up to kind of get within those aspects. Just some good mixtape buzz. It's like a good mixtape buzz song to kind of get here. Just some definite demon time. Woke up at 7 p.m. Past that a little bit just within the tones of like some good kickoffs, some nice within those pitches as far as those aspects can have. So it's just good type of appeal. Just like that Low Boots is like some good type of appeal of like some lyric kind of night embrace kind of get within some of those type fairs. It's a real haunted type one that works for like autumn and winter as far as those pitches kind of happen with it. Similar to like Gucci Mane, Waka Flocka in a more kind of horrific type sense, but it works for that relative. It works for that snaring type of aspect. Just some good vicious type ones here. Pretty much feels like a buzz type. Low Boost feels like it probably could have been like a promo type single in terms of like the appeal. Probably something that's just like an extra song that probably would have had a music video towards it, something like that. That just works like an extra type sense. Just a good aspect for some of those type ones. Good type conduct. And then I would say that basically Too Easy is another vicious one as well. It's like a feeling burnt kind of cruise around, kind of get within those aspects of some social outing, kind of toke a few like early 2010s mixtape soul. Too Easy would be some social outing kind of toke a few I'd had to say about this one. So it's just out and about. Say Too Easy would be some social outing kind of toke a few I'd definitely say here. Just good song to be out and about, just high as hell as far as those pitches kind of go. Just some early 2010s kind of mixtape soul. Too Easy would be like some early 2010s mixtape soul goings out as far as those pitches kind of happen. So it's just in the aspect of just being out on the town, just within like a DJ drama type soul type sense, just in a more early 2010s type format. So it's just a little bit more trendy to like 2010, 2011, 2012, some of those particular. Not so much like the typical kind of Don Cannon DJ drama type soul from like 2005, 2006, but just like a 2011, 2012 version of that particular type fare, just in the aspect of like just being social kind of out in the town. So it's kind of something that like Mac Miller or Wiz Khalifa would kind of do, just a more city hop type fashion, just a little bit more smoked in your system, just in the pitch. Not quite as backpacker, but just a little bit more just kind of on the town, just within like some off the fritz kind of nest. I'd say it's a good type tone to look after here. So I think I talked about every song off this particular product as far as this fair is going to happen. So it's just the conduct behind it. Basic conduct, this mixtape is a 10 out of 10, just being able to say that. The social score I'll probably give like a 10 out of 10 as well, just within the pitch. Just all these ones on here, these drill songs really hit pretty heavily. They're very excitable, should get you ignited pretty quickly and easily within those particular fairs. It's like a banner kind of Dat Piff mixtape, more in like a secondary sense, not as full-blown banner compared to True Religion and like Meek Mill's Dream Chasers, Rick Ross's Rich Forever, Kendrick's Overly Dedicated, some of those type ones, Drake's So Far Gone, some of those type pitches, but definitely one to kind of check within probably like the top 30 or 50 mixtapes that I would check out in terms of like the most immediacy. Dev has a lot of hits on here, has 2 charting hits at least within like the Billboard 100, has at least 2 charting hits on like the Billboard 100 kind of R&B and hip hop charts as far as those appeals kind of happen. These didn't hit like the Billboard 100, but in like the R&B hip hop charts, there were extra type songs on there, which is pretty good for like a free mixtape. So some good type pitches pitches for some of that. Just has the excellent aspects there. I'd have to say it's a relative, as vicious type of appeal. I would definitely say for like a commercial mixtape, this does a lot of appeals towards it. Has the makeshift songs on here. It's pretty good, user-friendly typeness, not with an aspect of being too hardcore. It's really not that hardcore at all for like the pitch behind it. It's just some concepts of having some of that type fare or something that's the initial kind of starter kit for some of that. Gets the conduct of it going. Just has the concept of having like some good charting songs, some good aspects for like some uh, early weekday kind of cruise arounds and like songs like Pimps and like Feeling You, some of those type ones, and good drill type songs for like that good weekend embrace, and some conduit songs on top of that. It also has some conduit songs as far as like the concept of like some makeshift relief, as far as the concept of switching to flip mode and getting towards like some Friday type fare, just kind of the concept of like some more Thursday evening type fare, just within the pitch of like the moments like, all right, done with these sorts of responsibilities, getting towards the moments that just like some pop off, and the initial moments of getting towards the crazy factors as far as this pitch can go. So good Thursday type fare, Friday type fare, and Monday, Tuesday type fare within the pitch. It just nails these particular vibes. So aspects, a lot of viciousness, does in like a commercial aspect, and just has in like a banner type particular feel that this is pretty. The learning curve is just not high within those pitches, so it's a good type tone for that. It's good aspects. So in terms of the future, like 2 Chainz recently just put out an album in early 2025 with like some folks like The Alchemist and like want to say it's like Larry June, something of that relative type pitch. So he's working on stuff within those relative type fashions, good type appeal. I'm gonna get to some more of these 2 Chainz mixtapes. I'm also gonna get to Cap One, like I was saying, some of those type of appeals. Definitely gonna get to some of these type ones. I want to get to 2 Chainz from 2000. I want to get to some of Tity Boy's type projects from 2010 and further. See if there's like some ones by Dollar Boy and see if there's like some ones by Dollar Boy and see if there's some further ones by Play a Circle within some of those type pitches. But it's definitely like a mixtape classic here, kind of secondary in terms of like the full bound kind of aspect of like its notoriety, but definitely one that probably had over 50,000 or 100,000 downloads, and definitely worth the check out as far as this pitch can have, especially considering that it's free.